Hello, and welcome to this discussion. I was able to contact Molson Coors today, and despite the rumors, which have been cleared up, Steel Reserve 211 lives. Cold Wind Blue. This is the Steel Reserve 211 SR. Remember, they used to say age 28 days, but that's dropped. This is the 6%. Pour a little bit of this. Now, early this month, there was a report that came out that Molson Coors, who owns Miller, was getting ready to drop 11 brands. Okay, that was accurate. And one of the brands they listed was just Steel Reserve 211. They listed that. That was what the news report said. Steel Reserve 211. Adage.com had it. I'm going to put this back up. This is certified kosher, and this beer is 6% alcohol and 140. Sorry, they got the wrong on this 1,242 milliliter bottle. They got the wrong information for the calories. I think it's 160 calories, but they on the side of that bottle they got the nutritional information for the 8.1%. They made a mistake. Okay, so here it is, golden, not much head of foam at all, clear, and I poured it straight in. So they said Steel Reserve is discontinued. That threw people in an uproar, including me. But then reports started coming in. People say, no, it's not the Steel Reserve 211. It's the Steel Reserve 211 triple export, because they had contacted them and they got emails. So I said, let me check to be sure. So I called them this morning, and the lady answered, and she said, oh, yes, she was aware. Apparently, they've been getting a lot of calls. She said, it's only the triple export that's being discontinued. The rest of Steel Reserve is staying around. Now, of course, I could change tomorrow, right? Well, I already had lunch, but this is the 6% version. Well, this is the legendary triple export that they're getting rid of, 8.1%, which did have a better flavor than the standard 8.1. No one could ever figure out why, but probably they were using better hop extract, a little better quality hops or more interesting hop varieties. So I'm glad I got my can for my collection. So anyway, this one, she said, she didn't say will be discontinued. She says has been discontinued. So it's too bad. But other products they said were Keylightful, which I don't think anybody was surprised by that, because hello, Chatio. I watched y'all's video last night. I had two of those amber ales in the past. I had the Fat Tire from New Belgium, which y'all call Flat Tire, and I've had the Bell's Amber, which had a strange flavor, although nothing as strange as the review for it yesterday evening. Nothing as strange as that. But anyway, that was a little different. Many an interesting late night was had on Steel Reserve 211. I believe it. But yeah, most of America gets the 8.1 silver can, not the 6%, which is much smoother and milder. Believe me, y'all. I wish everybody would get that. So they said, no, it's just the black can. All right. Also, they're getting rid of Miller High Life Light, which is a little peculiar because that seems to do very well in Louisiana. But maybe around the rest of the country it's not doing well, or it's not even available. So the cutting Miller High Life Light, introduced in 1994, discontinued 2021. Sorry. I don't guess I'll do a farewell video for that. Nobody cares about Miller High Life Light, I guess. It was probably a problem for them because, in my opinion, it had a little better flavor and body and character than Miller Lite. So and I never could understand why they introduced it. Like, why did you even bring it out? You say, well, let's just make, we already had Miller Lite, but let's make Miller High Life Light, but we'll make it a little better than Light, L-I-T-E, but yet we'll have it for a much lower price. And then we'll complain when it starts sucking away sales from Miller L-I-T-E. But they still have other products to suck away sales from L-I-T-E. They've got Keystone Light, which does very well, been on the market since 1989. They're not getting rid of that. And they have Milwaukee's Best Light, which seems to have a steady sales. All right. They're getting rid of Keylightful. I was saying it earlier. I never figured that was going to be around. I always thought that was just like a temporary product, you know, like a specialty item to compete with Natter Days. Probably something that they figured was just throw it out there and see what happens. It tasted like the, you know, the powdered mix, like the flavor-aid mix that you put in the, like they put that in the beer. Not a bad flavor, just that's literally what it tasted like. They took the strawberry mix or whatever. All right, so that was no surprise. I don't think anybody thought that was a permanent item. They just thought it was some kind of specialty thing. But too bad for the little dog with the Hawaiian shirt and sunglasses. Kind of cute. But I guess he'll be put to rest with Spuds McKenzie and all the rest. And the geckos and the frogs. The days of funny animal beer has been relegated to the craft beer world. Funny animal beer. They're getting rid of a Ham Special Light, which I did see close to Chicago a few years ago, but I didn't want to buy a 24-pack, you know, a suitcase. I said, well, I'm sure it's a nice light beer, but I don't want to pay for 24 of them. One would be enough. Nice looking label and everything, but that's gone. Henry Weinhardt's, kind of a Oregon Mount Hood originated product, popular there, and they tried selling it in Louisiana. I think I was the only person that ever bought a 6-pack in this state. The rest went expired and they dropped it. Weinhardt's was just one of these old companies. This is from 2012, this bottle, that had faded during the craft beer war. I mean, the regular beer war, sorry, of the 70s, 80s, 90s. And Molson Coors got a hold of it. I think they got it from Pabst in 99. But they couldn't get anybody to buy it, so it's gone. They used to have a whole, remember, they used to have a whole line of these. All kind of specialties, not just the Weinhardt standard. They had all kind of IPAs, one with a blue tongue on it or something like that. But they couldn't justify selling it. Let's check some comments. Now, the Steel Reserve is mild and mellow. A lot of hop action? No. Some sweetness? Yes. On the sweetness scale, it's probably 2 out of 5 sugar cubes. Hop scale, 1.5 out of 5 hop cones, honestly. Body's medium, finishes dry. 6%. It's a malt liquor, or they call it a high gravity lager, but it's mostly really an adjunct Helles Bock. If you were in Germany, this would be a Helles Bock, but without the corn syrup. In Germany, they would not allow that. But it's a Helles Bock style. In the American vein of it. Let's see comments, then we're going to go on. Good day to you, Jules. Your amber ale was not great. Yeah, I saw that. You were saying, yes. Okay. Not terrible, but you got to say it wasn't terrible. I'll tell you one thing about that, though. When I first tried Fat Tire years ago, I thought it was so bland. And I thought, what's the big hype on this thing? It's so dull. But then I bought more of it later, much later. I started thinking on it while I was drinking on it. And I said, you know what? This beer is one of those types that you have to really think on it because it's got more to it than you would believe by rushing through it or not being able to perceive it or something like that. I realized it was me. I was the problem, not the beer. It was too demure for my rushing through the like bull in the china shop approach. So I started thinking, well, I like it more. So I think if you drink on Fat Tire more, then you'll like it more. I just believe that. Man, this can's got a dent in it. But it probably had a dent at the store. You know, they throw these things on the shelves, sticking them on that rack, and they get dented up. And the distributor's not saying, be careful now for the collectors. Camo Black. Who makes Camo Black? Evil people. Cheers to you, BC. I miss Keystone Ice. Me too. I was wondering why I couldn't find it all of a sudden. I like Colt 45 maybe better. My friend David loves Colt. King Cobra, Ballantine, Triple Export. Ballantine is better than all of those, I think. I don't know what the ABV is. They don't disclose it. You're going to do a farewell video for Keystone Ice? Good. I would have done the same thing, but I can't find it. I can't do it. And the funny thing about Keystone Ice, it's always said it's an ale. It's in the American Ice style lager category because there is no category for American Ice ale, right? There is no category for American Ice ale. But the cans have always said, and I've got cans back to 96. The cans always say ale. Well, apparently it's an ale. It was brewed at a higher temperature with top fermenting yeast. Why? Because they probably could do it faster without lagering it as long. And they figured the old drunk, I mean the economy brand drinkers wouldn't really notice the subtle nuances between an ice brewed ale and a lager. Maybe more like a cream ale. Oh, but whatever. But it always specifically said ale. St. Ides Special Brewed. That's so old. All right. You'd be waiting a long time, I'm afraid. Yeah, sour. You must be talking about the 8.1. Oh, that's right. You had the Colorado Native. I thought that was a lager. I know it's from Molson Coors. We can't get it in Louisiana. Who had the Fat Tire? Oh, it was Brian, right? I get so confused. Correct me. Yeah. That's right. You said you didn't like. No, you said no. You said I'm okay, Spider. No, you said that it was kind of blah. And he sort of liked the Fat Tire. Yeah, there was so many brands you were looking at. I'm sorry, I got confused. Fat Tire. Now I can't speak about the Colorado Native because I never had. They don't sell it, but except in Colorado, you know. I'm going to do some research on Colorado Native. Is there any other ice ales other than Keystone Ice? Well, we're going to get to that in a minute. No, they're going to keep ice ales. All right, so let's get back into it. Sorry for the confusion, Chad. D-O. No, it's not getting canceled. Okay, so that's right. He had the Colorado Native, and I remember thinking I got to look that up, and then I didn't look it up. I didn't research it. I got sidetracked with other projects today. Okay, so Winehards, Ham Special Light is going bye-bye. Steel Reserve 211, Triple Export, the black can. That's the only one. It was a low volume product anyway. Never sold in Louisiana. It wouldn't matter to Louisiana because it was never sold here. Now here's Another one that you never could find. This is Mickey. Now Keystone, I'm sorry, Steel Reserve 211 was introduced in 1994, by the way. I just checked the trademark date. I think it was actually literally July 4th, 1994. Here is Ice Brewed Ale, Mickey's Ice Brewed Ale, 5.8. I found it in Florida, and then I found it in Wisconsin. That's the only two places I ever found it, Florida and Wisconsin. 5.8%. $157 calories per 12 ounces. I think Milwaukee's best. I think Steel Reserve 211, 6% is 161 calories, 160. So there it is, Mickey's Ice Brewed Ale. The plastic's starting to like deteriorate. It's green, but it's starting to get cloudy, and like it's got runs in it. It's like it's melting. That's kind of scary. The green glass used to be clearer. The green plastic. Let me get my can. I was in Florida at y'all know when you're going down Interstate 10 and you go south on 19, US Highway 19 towards St. Petersburg, you can get to that Hardee's, or is it Arby's? Arby's. Right south of the interstate, they got the gas station, and there's Arby's, and then there's a convenience store in there. So I went in there we wanted to eat. We were hungry and get the gourmet food that you get at Arby's. And so I said, woof, Mickey's Ice Brewed Ale, and they had the 4-packs of the pint cans. I said, I'm buying it. But the funny thing was, I went back the last time and I didn't see it. I never saw it again in Florida. I was glad I bought it. I just had a feeling. I said, watch, this will never be seen one day. So that's the disclosure. There's no other disclosure. They have to have a legal disclosure on these liquor products or what it actually is. And that is your disclosure. Ale, Ice Brewed Ale. And one guy that used to do a lot of beer hangouts with us said one time, well, it's not really an ale. I said, well, how do you know that? Well, I just don't believe it. I said, oh, that's really not. He said if they went to court, they would prove it wasn't ale. I said, really? I said, what difference would it make to them what they put on the can? They don't care. They know the people buying it aren't going to look. How many people buying stuff like this are going to say, oh, man, I got to make sure it's an ale, not a lager? No economy beer. People that buy economy beer don't look that stuff up. You say, well, y'all do. Yeah, but we're not the normal economy. We're kind of like eccentric. You understand? Most people in the world don't do that. Okay. Stop people on the street and ask them, what's the difference between an ale or a lager? 99% of people, they're not even going to know what you're talking about. They're going to say, what are you talking about? I drink beer. I had a person tell me that one time. I like Coors Light. That's my beer. I don't like all those lagers. I said, well, it is a lager. But, so, I mean, that argues against his point that they're trying to call it an ale, because they wouldn't be trying to do that, because it would be totally removed from the reasoning of it. Yeah, 8.1 is a little potent. Well, they have it maybe right now, but it won't be there for long. Schlitz Red Bull. I like the Red Bull. No, you won't get the privilege, I don't suppose. We've got the meats. We have the meats, and then next door at the convenience, was all in the same building. It was all connected where you didn't have to go back outside. It's kind of place where you can walk from place to place, all in one building. Still there. US Highway 19, south of Interstate 10. Well, you can go north on it also. It's called the Florida Georgia Parkway. That's the official name of it. The Florida Georgia Parkway. Back in the 1950s, it was like this 4-lane. highway connecting Florida and Georgia, the Florida-Georgia Parkway. Parts of it which are now upgraded to like an interstate level, you know, where you got exits and entrance ramp in it. It's like a freeway, expressway through Clearwater and all that. But most of it is just, you'd be stopping at every red light. Okay, now, but for the first 100 miles, there are hardly any red lights because there are hardly any towns. It's just like woods, state forest and everything. It's kind of interesting highway. I've seen wild pigs on the side of the road there, wild hogs and deer everywhere. Well, this is a really sad one for me. Magnum malt liquor. I did the 40th anniversary video, then they up and got rid of it. It's sad because this was a pretty nice product that most people couldn't get these days, and it was so mild and smooth. 5.9%, 5.6% in its modern version, but it used to be a 6%er. But then they bought Mickey's, and it suspiciously had the same specs as Mickey's. Not Mickey's. Yeah, Mickey's. So, talk about a waste. They never did much with this product. It had a lot of potential, but, you know, Molson Coors, Miller Coors, they're kind of goofy. Drinking a Hellas. Optimum 11%, kind of strong. Yeah, guess so. Malt liquor, always malt liquor, says Thomas Meadow. You fell asleep last night and you woke up with your beer on your lap. That's kind of scary. All right. So too bad. That's my greatest loss in this is the Mickey. That's the Magnum. All right. What else is being discode? That's slang. Mark. That's a business slang for discontinued. You say no, duh. Old English 800 high gravity. Introduced in 2001. Never was a big seller, but of course they never promoted it. While, you know, I saw some of this on my road trip to New York City last month. I didn't buy it. I saw 24-ounce cans, but I didn't buy it. But I said, look at this, still on the shelves. But it's gone. Here's another big loss. When we went to Texas in June, my friend David, we stopped at this gas station on Interstate Highway 49, right off of 49, in Bunkie, Louisiana. How you like that name? Bunkie. Bunkie. And he bought quart cans of this, Milwaukee's Best Premium. This is the older label, but this was introduced in 1895 now. 1895, and they're getting rid of it. He was like, I really like this beer. I really like this beer. It was pleasant to drink, I gotta say. But it's gone. They still make the Milwaukee's Best Premium, the Milwaukee's Best Light, introduced in 1986. Or is that 84? I think it maybe Meisterbrow Light was introduced in 86. Oh, well, whatever. The mid 80s. I have to pin that down. And they're going to keep the Milwaukee's Best Ice, which we can still get. And that was introduced in 94. And they're getting rid of Ice House Edge. People say, oh, no, not the Edge. It never was too popular. They brought this out to compete with Natty Daddy. And it doesn't even claim to be an ice beer. They just call it Ice House Edge. It's just a high gravity malt liquor. Malt liquor, always malt liquor. What you know about that? You heard me? So this was the new label, you heard me, that they came out with, you heard me, in 2019, you heard me, but it never could compete with the Natural Father. The Natural Father was the victor in that war. This is like the Pontiac Firebird, could never compete with the Mustang, and it didn't even keep it around. Well, they didn't keep Pontiac around. What am I saying? Okay. So, c'est la vie, la-di-da, that's life. Too bad. Tough luck. But the steel reserve is staying around. Steel reserve is staying around. Last comments. Oh man, that is expensive. We don't ride Harleys. We're not bikers, but he does have a 1991 Chevy Silverado truck, single cab with the what you call the back, the flare side. I think it was the last year they made the flare side. Might have been 92. I know they made flare side in 92 for Ford. Yeah, mine too. I used to get Milwaukee's Best Ice all the time when I could get it in the 30 packs. We can still get quart cans. You're right. Man, a number of days ago, I was able to get 2 Miller High Life Light 30 packs. The guy said they just had a huge stick of them in. He don't believe this story. Well, believe the story. They said they're getting rid of it, but who knows? They could change them up. But I don't. Yeah, Ice House Edge is too strong for me, but it has a good flavor. Get a malt liquor. Mickey's. Yeah, it's a classic. Yeah, it's a good seller. So why would they cut their good seller? Milwaukee's Best Ice. Seems to do well at the convenience stores here. They always got quart cans. I think people buy it after work, hopefully not before work. Let me check on my reference book before we get off this. Before we get off this conglomeration. I used to write letters to beer companies and they would send me brochures like Anheuser-Busch. This was back in the mid to late 90s. Miller sent me this big thick thing. Then they sent me this booklet, The History of Miller. You call them now, they tell you, look at their website. So I was glad I contacted them back in the paper days before everything went full internet. And look, they say, the history of beer, like the definitive history of beer, courtesy of Miller, meaning Philip Morris. Back in those days, it was Philip Morris. You know, makers of these little things here. Man, this is back when the PM was popular. You remember these cigarettes? You used to find them around PM. I used to see these at every grocery store, Philip Morris cigarettes, PM. Now, oh, you could do a scavenger hunt. Oh, that's L&M. I'm sorry. But they got Philip Morris right here. Those are hard to find. And apparently it's all types. It's like a Philip Morris Gold and all of that. Parliament. Chesterfield. Chesterfield's making a comeback, or in Louisiana at least. They got the red label, the green label, and the blue label everywhere, and they're promoting it. Some people will say that's the thing. The Chesterfield is the deal, but I don't smoke cigarettes, so I wouldn't know. Here we go. Oh, 1986. I thought so. Milwaukee's Best Light, 1986. See? The old original cans. Oh, that's Meisterbrow. Sorry. That's going to, here we go. The classics. The classic cans. Pulling the wagon, you know, the old beer wagon pulling the barrels. Meisterbrow Light. They don't say when. It just said they also brew the light for selected markets. And now it's not brewed for no markets anymore. Here's some imports. John Courage lager. Holy smokes. You know, one of the best beers I ever tried in my life was John Courage Russian Imperial Stout. John Courage Russian Imperial Stout. Are you telling me that was affiliated with Miller Coors at one time? Or Philip Morris? Philip Morris? You know, Philip Morris bought Miller in 1970 and they kept it until 2016. True story, true story, true story, true story. All right, last comments, Ming. Yep, those old those old quart cans. Schaefer. It's the one beer to have when you're having more than one. There you go. Too much glare from outside, but when you really want to drink a lot of Schaefer, when you really want to drink a lot, you needed to get this one. Oh man. 15 and 30 packs with no quart cans of Milwaukee's best ice. 32-ounce cans are annoying because they spill. All you got to do is turn it to the side. I learned this by watching people. You turn the mouth to the side and it'll come out without spilling. You can't pour it straight, though. Used to smoke a pack and a half of Camel Lights every day. Yikes. Yeah, he probably wasn't notified. About $8.99 for Pacifico 6-packs, if you can find them. Cigarettes are satanic in the sense of how horrible cancer is. Well, there's no evidence that cigarettes cause cancer, and the government cannot prove that. But there is a positive correlation between the cigarettes and cancer, see? Because if it caused cancer, everyone who smoked cigarettes would catch cancer. Jumping off of skyscrapers causes death. That's 100% correlation. Unless you hit a mattress truck and you bounce, you know, down the street. But the incidences of cancer relative to cigarettes increases with the amount of cigarette smoke. Some people smoke like a chimney and never get the least bit ill. But there is a positive correlation. That's all the government has ever really been able to establish, is that there's a positive correlation. They've never been able to establish that they cause cancer, which you're not supposed to mention in this day and age. People say that's a conspiracy theory. No, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's the fact. That's the truth. High Life Light. Yeah, it sells well in Louisiana too. PBR, no, it's got no relationship to Miller aside that they do the brewing for them. Yeah, Schaefer's a gone pecan, I'm afraid. Hello, Window Beer Review Thomas. Sleep tight, Steeler. I've never heard that saying before. Good point, Jay. Yeah, thank you. Bounce off the landing pad and fly into the liquor store to get more. Right. That's inverted logic, though. I never said that smoking cigarettes wasn't dangerous. See, it's funny when you talk to people about things in a logical way, they'll take it and they'll twist it. I'm not saying that. I'm not attacking you, Window Beer Review Thomas, whoever that is. And I run into this all the time on Facebook. People that use inverted logic and straw man arguments and things like that to make a point, but their point is pointless, you know. I just said very clearly, I said there's no evidence that cigarettes cause cancer. I said there's strong evidence that there's a positive correlation between heavy cigarette smoking, heavy, notice I said heavy, and incidences of cancer. All right. Now, he came back with a chippy or smart aleck remark that said, so walking in a minefield is not dangerous. Because then they'll use this, they'll make this point. Well, everybody that walks in a minefield doesn't get blown up. That would be like saying, I have a brother, he takes heroin every day. He's not addicted. You know, so I mean, I don't even entertain those kind of arguments because they're totally beyond the point of what I was saying. You know, they're, like I say, it's inverted logic. But anyway, well, now you see, I never said people should smoke cigarettes. And in fact, I don't endorse it. And I think it's a bad idea. Plus, it's a big expense. But then you have to take other logical considerations into account. You would have to ask yourself, well, what about if a person smoked 1 in the morning, 1 midday, and 1 in the evening? Because they're addicted, you know, they get the heebie-jeebies when they don't smoke. And they took all these treatments and they took a patch and they did this and all these expensive things because they want to quit smoking altogether. They actually don't really want to quit smoking at all. But from peer pressure and the internet and television commercials telling them how they're going to die and their family harping and bothering them, they say, okay, I'm going to give up smoking. Of course, then they might be smoking 3 packs a day. A little bit extreme, right? But now, I'm no scientist. I just like to think about things. I'm thinking to myself, I've been saying this for 20 years. Well, what if the person just went and smoked like 3 a day? 3 times 7 is 21. That's a pack a week. Would that really be dangerous to their health? I'm just asking. Would that really be dangerous to their health? And then I got these people chiming in, the peanut gallery. Well, any cigarette smoking is dangerous. They'll come in and say that. I say, well, you've done research on that? No, everybody knows it. My uncle died of cancer. I said, well, what did he do? He smoked 3 packs a day. I said, I just said, I'm talking about 3 a day. Cigarettes, individual cigarettes a day. But that's the kind of thinking these people do. I'm talking about just people on the street, common people. I say, no wonder the United States has bad leadership. This is the kind of, you elect, you vote, and you say to yourself, you vote. Histrionics, you know, like hysterical approach to life. I said, hold on, time out. Time out. I said 3 cigarettes a day. And now you're talking about your uncle who died, and you just told me that hypocrite smokes 3 packs a day. Either you're being intentionally difficult or you really are stupid. You know, there's no other. All right, anyway. I'm sorry to bring up things like intelligence, quality use of logical approaches to living. I don't smoke cigarettes, but to vape can. Well, we won't get into marijuana today. It is a chance to learn and not get upset. Some people can't realize that because people usually oftentimes take a all or nothing approach to life, like food. They're overweight. Overweight, common problem in America. But look at the solutions. It usually becomes much worse. I think I should run for president. All right. It is very interesting. All right. Thanks for watching this video production for Miller's, what do you call it? Steel Reserve 211 lives. Steel Reserve 211 lives. It lives. It lives. I called the company. It lives. So very nice. But the other 11 are dead, and could be more to come. Could be more to come. Right. Can't be too strident with things. I don't care what you're talking about. Religion, politics, social questions, cigarette smoking, drinking. It's very difficult to discuss these kind of problems with fanatics. And a lot of Americans are fanatics. Fanatics, but not very knowledgeable. Not very knowledgeable. Kessler. Hey, Bill Beerhound. You know what? I saw Kessler the other day. I saw Kessler just Sunday, and I was thinking about